It's been a long winter in Lincoln, Nebraska, but spring has sprung, and that means it's time for Nebraska football at Memorial Stadium. Last year, we were treated to an unforgettable run by an incredible young man, and we'll check in with young Jack and catch you up on those bigger Huskers, too. It's spring football, and it's all coming up next. In Lincoln, Nebraska for the 2014 Nebraska Spring Football Game from Memorial Stadium. 60,000 fans expected to pack in for the annual spring tradition that brings them to Lincoln, Nebraska. Hello again, everybody. I'm Larry Putney, along with former Husker Damon Benny. Good to have you with us. We have a bit of a unique spring game today, as these two teams will be really offense versus defense. We'll get to see ones versus ones, twos versus two, and each team, offense and defense, has their own way in which they can score points.
Yeah, I like the format. I think it's a lot cleaner. It's easier to grade. I think it'll be easier for the fans to follow. And primarily, it's easy to get excited. Those guys on the defensive side love to be going to bat with just their guys. Offense feels the same. There'll be no love lost between their two, just good old-fashioned offensive defensive competition.
So here are our rules for the day. It is, as we said, offense versus defense. You won't see any coin flip or kick or punt returns. No running clock. Roughly, Bo Pelini said this morning, about 25 plays per quarter. Should be between 90 and 125 by the time the day is over. This is how you will score it. The offense will obviously get 6 points for a touchdown, 3 for a field goal, 1 for an extra point. Typical scoring for an offensive team. For the defense, this is how they'll score their points. An interception is worth 6, a sack's worth a couple. A defensive touchdown, you combine the 6 for the touchdown, 6 for the turnover, they get 12 points, so a big play. You like this form of scoring?
I do. I think it's fair, and it'll keep everybody on their toes. Defense knows that they can constantly generate points, and offense better be sharp as well again. It'll boil down to good old-fashioned competition.
Looking forward to seeing a couple of stars on the field today. First in the form of the starting quarterback for the Huskers, Tommy Armstrong.
Yeah, he oozes moxie. He's the guy that has tremendous command of the offense. You see 68 of 31 for 966. It's that one-to-one touchdown to interception ratio that he'd like to improve upon. Right. I think if you're going to make a run at a conference title, it needs to be at least 2-to-1 and maybe 3-to-1 when you know you're operating at a high level.
It's a very young defense for this Nebraska team, but a very talented defensive well, and it starts with Randy Gregory.
Absolutely. He's got the great big motor. He's a superstar, and the thing that Randy will have to manage this year is how to handle the expectation levels. Will protection slide to him? Will he get chipped? How will he be blocked this year as he tries to become a more complete player? And that's not only get after the passer, but stop the run game as well.
It'll be a very busy afternoon down on the field as well, and for that we head down to Will Shields. Will.
New season, how's everything going in spring ball?
You know, I thought we've had a good spring up to this point. You know, it's, we always talk about laying a foundation, it's going to carry over into the fall, and I think we've done that. Our guys have worked hard. We've got a lot of reps, a lot of work. Obviously, some guys have come further than others. Today we're going to be a little bit thin in some positions. Just, nothing that's going to carry over into the season. We've got some guys nicked up that won't be able to play today. But overall, I think it's been very productive for us.
Good. I got a question. Do you have any young guys that's like a freshman that just showed up on the block that basically have impressed you this spring?
Well, there's a guy. We got a junior college kid who just came here in January who's done really well. And Byron Cockrell, a corner who I think is he plays some corner, plays some nickel. He's had a really good spring for us. And Zach Darlington joined us early, and I think he's had a good spring. We haven't hit him. You'll see him out there today in a green jersey, but he's coming along. But I think overall, a lot of all those, that's what spring's all about, is that give those young guys that maybe haven't played a lot of football yet, a chance to come and show what they can do and set themselves up for the opportunity to play in the fall.
Okay, one more about defense. Now, defense last year at the beginning, some spring camp, we were worried about it a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
They solidified themselves as the season's going on. What do you project for them this year?
Well, if we keep working and we keep developing, we have a chance to be really good. Not only this coming year, but this group is going to be together for a few years. So I feel good about it. I think our guys have made development, but we're not where we need to be yet. But I think we're heading in that direction.
All right. Well, thanks, Coach. I appreciate it.
It's good to see you.
Good luck today.
All right. Thanks, Will, and thanks to Coach Bo Pelini for joining us. It's a typical Saturday afternoon in Lincoln, Nebraska. 60,000 fans piling in for the annual Nebraska Spring Game. walk-up crowd expected as well, and all sorts of musicians out for this spring game here in Lincoln, Nebraska. And here comes the Nebraska tunnel walk-in. Bo Pelini is coming out with the cat. He's taking this cat thing to another level.
It has grown to mythical proportions. You know, on the morning show, I was kind of just joking about this with my partner. We didn't really expect this to come to fruition.
And of course, those who know the story well, Bo Pelini, his Twitter picture is with Bo Pelini and a cat. Bo Pelini famously tweeted out, and it trended within the first 10 minutes. He tweeted out, "Okay, enough with this. Where's my cat?" Or "I want my cat back," right?
Yeah, and it was amazing. He turned, like he's been able to do thus far, turned a negative into a positive, because if you remember, it was the Christmas sweater and the cat that was a kind of a parody
Right.
of Coach Pelini's personality that he has now turned out to be a positive.
And so Bo Pelini, along with said cat, emerges from the Nebraska tunnel to the throng of 50 to 60,000. And Bo, of course.
And good on that guy for being able,
As the maturation process, I don't know how mature some folks will think this is, but as his maturation process as a head coach and embracing the fans and social media and getting into 2014,
good on that guy.
So ready to go here in the Nebraska spring game. This will be, as we said, offense versus defense. Tommy Armstrong goes up top immediately looking for Bell across the middle. Good defensive effort there by the Huskers. It was Mitchell in coverage.
Yeah, that'll be a good matchup to watch for as long as we can see it. Kenny Bell on Josh Mitchell. And the other good matchup to take a look at is Rose on Birch, two emerging stars.
A quick rundown here again. Here's Tommy Armstrong under pressure. And this Nebraska offense and the offensive line, really one of the question marks, Damon, coming in to this season.
Yeah, on paper they look extremely talented. It is a deep unit. They're going to try to continue to establish depth, especially as they get some guys healthy. But they can go 8, and we heard Coach Pelini say this morning, as many as maybe 9 or 10 deep potentially.
Back again is Armstrong across the middle, right into coverage, and the interception, and that will be worth 6 points as Nate Gary with the pickoff, and Gary moving back to the safety position for this season. Damon, he was a linebacker last year, and being able to see the field from the perspective of a linebacker has really helped him in that new safety spot.
Yeah, a little bit ominous foreshadowing as we take a look at the replay here.
Armstrong's got to get that head on a swivel, stare a guy down, and like we talked about this morning with Coach Pelini, Gary's transition into safety and how smooth he's been in moving to the new spot has been nothing short of amazing. He looks awful comfy and almost at home.
So now we'll see Riker Fife, as it will be the 2s versus the 2s. So 6 points on the board for the defenses. Fife looking for that quick throw out into the flat, pulls it down, gains a few yards. Riker Fife right now just ahead of Johnny Stanton on the depth chart at quarterback for Nebraska. Both of those, both Riker Fife and Johnny Stanton, will be important for the Huskers as they go through the 2014 campaign.
As we see on the white tackle, a guy that Coach Pelini is extremely high on is Jack Gangwish. Defensive end wearing number 95.
Good pinch from the corner. Terrell Newby with the carry. And that's a look at Byerson Cockrell, who we heard Bo Pelini talk about with Will Shields at the top.
Yeah, he's an outstanding specimen. You take a look at that wingspan right there. Tremendous length, and he can run.
Defensive secondary, another one of those areas as Riker Fife keeps it enough for a first down for Fife out past the 40 to the 44-yard line. But that defensive secondary, specifically the cornerback safety, Nebraska knew it had a lot of work to do, but they've come up with some young talent there.
Yeah, I think the secondary has by far been the most pleasant of the surprises this spring, because you have a hire in Coach Warren, and you got some young bucks, Rose and Cockrell, Gary moving back to the safety spot. they have been nothing short of holding up their end of the bargain thus far.
Out on the flat, the catch made by Brandon Riley. Riley, the sophomore out of Lincoln, Nebraska. A nice gain on the completion. You think about in that secondary who they lost from last year, Damon. It was Ciante Evans, a four-year letter winner, 13 starts. Andrew Green with 10. Harvey Jackson. Stanley John Baptiste had 13 starts. So they're losing a lot of talent in that defensive secondary. You see Riker Fife taking advantage of it right now with another quick out. Once again, it's Brandon Riley on the reception.
Yeah, the little bubble look from the number 2 receiver. And you saw right there 2 good things. Number 1, Riker Fife putting that ball in position where Riley can get it on the fly, and then Riley immediately getting vertical. He's had an outstanding spring, perhaps the most impressive of any of the wide receiving crew.
Brandon Riley, as we said, sophomore out of Lincoln Southwest High School. Riker Fife, though, very effective here early on.
His ability to work quick. This offense is in general, and we were surprised a little bit in talking with Coach Pelini as we take a look at the replay this morning. Their tempo is something that they will continually stress, and they can't play fast enough. So to see them move at this clip is to be expected.
This time the give. No, Fife will keep, but he pulls it out, goes around the right side. And Riker Fife, who they said really had a command of the offense throughout this Nebraska spring practice.
And he's smooth, too, as we take a look at the replay. It is tough. Ezekiel's trying to get out there and make a play. And good downfield blocking by Tariq Allen. He's got good size. He's feeling good about himself. He's back healthy. He's looking to have an impact. And I think he'll have a big day today.
Fife out of Grand Island, Nebraska, leading this second-team offense against the Nebraska second-team defense. The 1-versus-1 battle went to the defense as they had the pick. Great defensive play, and that's Cockrell again in the defensive secondary.
This young man is not short on confidence. He has made the transition. Look at him snap his head around and play the football. That right there, folks, you can't teach any better than that. He's got his head on a swivel, and it's a difficult skill for those DBs to learn to make a play on the ball in the air.
Now, you might look at the score and think, now, how did Red pick up 1 point? It's for an extended drive. So this drive by Riker Fife for the second team has already put 1 point on the board, looking to add more. Good check down by Riker. Finds Newby. Newby, nifty little cut, but stepped out of bounds at the 7-yard line. But there's the excitement that we see out of Terrell Newby.
Yeah, not only that, let's back up just a second. What was the thing that Coach Pelini talked about wanting the offense to have the ability to do this year? Take what the defense gives you.
That's right.
You see the check down, here's the leak, and then you get a guy that's electric out there in space in Terrell Newby, able to operate, putting Nebraska just in good position at 1st and goal.
So even here in the spring game, we have the red balloons, which have been released into the air. Of course, he didn't get into the end zone, stepping out of the 7, but there's a look at the young cornerback for Nebraska who's expected to see a lot of time in Cockrell.
Well, that was by design. Let's see if our guys in the truck have that. Cockrell's ability to lay down right here and get a 20 was well done. It was almost like a sniper just got him. He kind of looked around, he thought about it, and just decided he'd fall down. I guess that's a lot better than just kind of running to the bench. You don't want to be that guy that has to go to the sidelines with a hurt finger.
Terrific day here in Lincoln, Nebraska. 70 degrees. Usually warm spring day. Could have picked a better day as Riker Fife on this drive. 4 for 5, 38 yards. Newby with the carry on the stretch. Cuts it back up. Gain of a few inside the 5. And this Nebraska backfield, we'll chronicle it as we go throughout the afternoon. Terrell Newby just one of the pieces. Of course, we're not seeing Amir Abdullah play today. Amir Abdullah looking for his 3rd consecutive 1,000-yard season. No Nebraska running back has ever done that.
He's a talented tailback. Pretty complete as well.
Fife, quick, out into the flat for the touchdown. Riker Fife to Tariq Allen for the touchdown. And the Red takes the lead.
Yeah, a little bit of a missed assignment there. Ishmael Jackson out there on the corner, still getting some communication. He's coming on the corner blitz. He's looking for a safety to roll over. They both come, and that's something that you can expect to happen in spring. I think Ishmael thought he was going to come. He was going to be the blitzer off the edge. You saw Gary walk down into the box. He thought he was coming. Big play wide open. That's the proverbial bust right there.
So our first look on the afternoon at Laurel Bondi, a 6', 205 junior out of Boca Raton, Florida, who will take over the kicking duties this year for Pat Smith, who was a one and done at Nebraska, but a very valuable special teams player for the Huskers.
Has Bondi been raiding your shoe wardrobe over there, LB?
You like that?
I like those blues.
He has his red team on top. It's 8-6 here in Lincoln. Memorial Stadium here on a terrific Sunday afternoon in Lincoln, Nebraska for the annual red-white scrimmage. And now with a very special guest, let's go down on the field to Will Shields.
Hey, I'm here with Coach Miles from the NU basketball team. Now, when they had you at the Big Ten meeting, they had you guys picked at last. Tell me how that transcribed to your season this year.
You know, like any athlete or coach, you kind of feel like that's a personal indictment on yourself. And I think our guys really knew we were better than that. And, you know, once we got ourselves together, it was just an unbelievable season.
So as you go in and you're trying to fight your way into the NCAA, now you sort of set the bar. What does it look like for next year?
Well, I think we're going to be better. I think our recruiting is going to improve some of our deficiencies we didn't have. Interior presence. As you know, we got a couple pretty good wings. So we're going to add some more guard play to that, maybe another big guy. And I just think that experience of going through the NCAA, blowing a big lead to Ohio State in the Big Ten tournament, and then not having to go our way is going to be fuel for these guys in the future.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Will. Thanks very much to Coach Tim Miles for joining us. I can't remember a day in Nebraska basketball similar to the one we experienced when Wisconsin came in and Nebraska needed the win to essentially wrap up the NCAA tournament berth. So we're going to look at some drills now. Part of this spring game is a look at a 3-on-1 drill. So, Damon, describe how this works. You see the sideline right down the middle of the field. The far sideline is the other.
Yeah, you'll see the pylon that's on the 40-yard line, and what the returner is trying to do is get vertical immediately. The drill that you're trying to teach is as a punt returner to get up the field immediately. You want to net a positive 10 yards on the return. The three defenders have to corral the ball carrier, which means you have to play with leverage. Outside shoulder stays as outside as to the sideline, turning it back into your middle defender, and your defender to you on the opposite side of you has the same responsibility. So you got to have a little bit of courage as a returner because these guys are definitely what we call unblocked.
And so the offensive team here now, or the punt returners, 0 for 3. And this is not what we witnessed when we took a look at this film on tape this morning.
No, we'd seen those guys have a lot of success. Yeah. But as we take a look at it, it's a little different with the bright lights on. And this guy was one that had a ton of success on film, and that's Taro Newby. He is lightning in a bottle, just figuring out what it takes to play at this level. He's going to be a good one.
You saw him plant that left foot, and what vertical movement. Here's Brandon Riley. Riley with a nifty little move to score.
He gives it to him. He's got some shake and bake to his game. Don't let the smooth taste fool you. He's got some wiggle to his game.
And once again, they start at the 30. If they can get to the 40, they score. The three defenders trying to prevent them, and the defenders win it there.
It was Desmond Robinson trying to make a name.
Yep, Desmond Robinson running him out.
Oh, look at Jamal Turner just getting vertical.
Turner puts the head down.
And that's a win. You can see the pylon if you remember. It's at the 40.
So here's Jordan Westerkamp, who returned a lot of punts for Nebraska last year, and Westerkamp doesn't quite get there, running out of bounds. Westerkamp looking for the immediate angle on the edge. Nice job by that outside.
And that was Gladney, another offensive guy sticking his face in there who's got some really good toughness. That's too easy.
Wow, that's Jordan Nelson. Check that. Yes, it is Jordan Nelson. scoring easily there.
Little pocket Hercules got good change of direction. Has had a hard time staying healthy out of Omaha Burke.
So entertaining for the fans, something the fans typically don't get to see, are some of these drills that Pelini and staff really work on a day-to-day basis, the tackling, the fundamentals, being fundamental here in the drills and trying to translate that into the field.
Without question. On the defensive side, you're unblocked. It teaches you to tackle in the open field and learn to sink your hips and drop down. And as a punt returner, with 3 guys at you unblocked, where you know yards are pretty important, not a ton of time to dance. Get vertical immediately and get vertical for at least 10. That's a win.
There's John Papuchis, defensive coordinator for the Huskers. Just watched his second-team defense scored upon as...
Take a look at that talented interior for that white defense. Young, but aggressive.
Back in there at quarterback is Tommy Armstrong. He pulls that in. Nice job defensively by Greg McMullen, number 90, and you're going to see a lot of Greg McMullen come fall. This is a kid with a great body and a good motor.
And don't blink. You do see the single-digit number 7, Malik Collins.
Right.
Playing out there in a 7 technique as at the defensive end spot. Now this D-line, if they continue to grow and mature, they've got a chance. Going to have to establish some depth. But their top 2 are talented.
Under pressure and a sack.
And there's the most
Zaire Anderson.
The most consistent of the bunch. We hear the flash guys. We've heard about Michael Rose. We've heard about Bando and Josh Banderas. But the guy that has been the most complete this spring is right there, number 13. 2 missed blocks. And he closes. His ability to get home and get you to the ground is probably his biggest asset. Whatever he hits typically stops moving.
So 3rd down and 18, and right now, number 1 defense owning this number 1 offense. Armstrong along with Amani Cross in the backfield. Armstrong looks over the middle, finds his guy. A good gain of about 13, but that will bring up 4th down and 5.
Yeah, that's going to leave a mark, too, as young Nate Gary sticks his face in there to make the play on Sam Birch. The ability to close. You see Gary drop his hips and play with a good strike angle.
So again, no first down, no punts, so that essentially a turnover, and so now the second-team offense will come out. There's Tim Beck, offensive coordinator, quarterback's coach for the Huskers. Although you see Joe Gans, graduate assistant, working on the sideline with the quarterbacks quite a bit as well.
Yeah, the hourglass is ticking for Mr. Gans as he finishes up his GA responsibilities.
So here's our first look at in there, quarterback for Nebraska, Tyson Brokemeyer, a walk-on from Aurora. His 4th season in the program, also figures to battle for some playing time this year.
For that white defense playing that right rush in, you see him put his hand in the dirt. That is Marcus Newby, the guy that we've heard a lot about.
Out on the flat.
It's Connor Ketter.
We talked about this defensive line and the depth. Damon, you think about, obviously, Randy Gregory, Greg McMullen, who we saw. A.J. Natter was injured here in the spring, but they expect a lot of things. Joe Keels, the transfer, junior college transfer. And then on that interior line, Malik Collins, really, as you said, his ability to play the 5 or the 7 technique, go outside, really creates some versatility for this defensive line.
Yeah, it does. And you get a healthy Kevin Williams back, and we talked to Coach plenty about him this morning, how, you know, he felt like he's grown up quite a bit. He's come a long way. He can provide some depth. And don't forget about Kevin Maurice, who is still continuing to grow as well. And then a guy that I think is going to make our under-the-board walk-on kind of team with Jack Gangwish, who has given them some push off the edge, too, in terms of being able to get after the passer. It's a work in progress, but they've got some bodies that they can manage.
Here's Johnny Stanton at quarterback. Stanton, the 6'2", 225 redshirt freshman out of Rancho Santa Maria, California.
And it's like they say, Phil P, the most popular guy is the backup quarterback, and as Stanton tries to garner that role, he is by far and away have captured the most intrigue almost of any offensive player to this date through the spring. Everybody wants to know how Johnny Stanton's doing. This will be the first good, clean look that he's got with the live bullets flying.
Coach Pelini told you and I this morning he thought Stanton probably had the best arm of the bunch. Still growing in his ability to learn the offense.
Well, you take a look at the Malachi crunch by Singleton and Cockrell. That secondary has been pretty impressive this spring. And it's like we alluded to, any good defense that Coach Pelini has had, we've heard about the great interior line, but the one thing all those defenses have in common is the secondary has been outstanding.
Motion will be called on the offense. They had a 3rd down and 1 and looking to pick up that 1st down.
Is that the first piece of laundry we've seen today?
First today.
That's pretty impressive.
And especially at the pace with which they run this offense.
It is. It is. They're moving at quite a bit, quite a clip, and shuffling in a ton of bodies.
Stanton under pressure, looking downfield. Keeps the eyes peeled, slips between a couple, but just out to about the 35. I think the one thing that you had noticed, Damon, even early in the spring was the tempo.
It is brisk, and while the defense wasn't lined up, you look at Marcus Newby doing his best semisonic impersonation with closing time. You see him narrow the distance between he and the ball carrier. He is outstanding at what we call getting home.
Well, many of you may have heard that Rutgers and Maryland coming into the Big Ten in 2014, which has created a need for new divisions. Gone are the leaders and legends. So let's take a look at the East Division. That would include the other side from where Nebraska is. Teams like Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, a stacked division on the east side. And here's your West Division with Iowa, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Purdue, Northwestern, Illinois, Minnesota also in there in the East-West.
Nebraska's got to have the ability to make hay.
Good carry by Jordan Nelson.
That's the hammer.
That's Amani Cross.
Yeah, and you know what? And I saw him on the sidelines. I was just kind of keeping an eye on him as we take a look at the replay. Watch him put the left foot in the ground and get vertical. He's a hammer. Great bit of insight from Coach Pelini this morning where they kind of had a little sit-down about his playing weight, who he needs to be as an I-back, and then finally being comfortable with who he is as an I-back. He's a big back that they want to go downhill and play east and west, play to his strengths.
It was a gain of about 4 yards for Cross. Back-to-back carries for the physical back for Nebraska, Amani Cross. Back up to 230. You like that playing weight on him, right, David?
Yeah, I do. I think he's got to be who he is. He's a hammer.
Quick toss out to Kenny Bell. The shake and bake. Bell down the sideline. A nifty move for Nebraska's best receiver last year, Kenny Bell.
Yeah, he has gone to full-fledged quiet mode, and a great job of locking up on the outside. Watch Birch do just about everything he asks him to do, and that's block. And trying to capture Kenny Bell in space is like trying to bottle smoke. You're never going to quite get it all. Little dip, dap, see on the other end. Good peelback block by Birch. We're off to the races.
Kenny Bell has a chance to set Nebraska records next year for career receptions and career receiving yards. He has been a consistent, as you see, Tommy Armstrong Jr.
Great patience, too, on that outside zone play. You saw how long Armstrong stayed with the ball carrier, getting a real good look to see who's closing and who isn't. See, that's a win. Right now, that's 2nd and 3. You got the whole playbook open to you. That's how Nebraska would like to function as an offense.
The red team trying to regain the lead here as they trail 12-9 late here in this first quarter. In fact, this will be the last drive of quarter number 1 as they've already reached their number of yards. Amani Cross takes the option. And one of the things you like about Armstrong is the way he runs the option.
Yeah, you do. He's a smooth operator. He handles it well, and he's very good about. He doesn't typically hurry himself. You know, sometimes you got that internal clock and it gets sped up in your head.
He's a guy that understands full well what his mind and his legs are capable of doing.
First team defensive line in there. You see Vincent Valentine along with Randy Gregory. Malik Collins playing at the defensive tackle right now.
Yeah, that big boy voice you hear, that's number 4.
Armstrong goes up top. Misfires with Kenny Bell.
Yeah, that might have been a miscommunication between he and Sethan Carter. I think Sethan Carter should have sat it down as the number 2.
Sethan Carter, of course, number 11, the tight end for the Huskers. Just his sophomore year. Someone who's really grown over the course of these spring practices is Sethan Carter.
And look at his athleticism as he's fluxed out here as that hybrid type tight end. It can be disruptive, too, as a defense as you try to get set up. You see a personnel package with a tight end, and yet there's no inline guy out there.
Nathan Gary showing blitz there. Called the check down. Amani Cross with the carry into the end zone. Touchdown, Amani Cross.
With the beautiful assist to the guy we call Sticks, number 11, Sethan Carter. Guys on lockdown on the perimeter, allowing Cross to split the defense.
19-yard carry for the sophomore Amani Cross. Look at junior Amani Cross.
You know, and it doesn't show up in the stats, but Tommy Armstrong's hold on the play fake holds the backside safety. Watch how long he stays with this. See, that's all you need for Leroy Alexander to not be able to get there. I'm not sure if our guys in the truck can rerun that, but with the hesitation and the backside run fit by Leroy Alexander, he can't get to Amani Cross.
Extra point is blocked, and that will be a point for the White as the Red now have the lead. We are at the end of one. Nebraska offense on a couple of scoring drives have put 6 on the board, but the defense has looked good as well. Bo Pelini's spring practice continues from here in Lincoln, Nebraska at Memorial Stadium. 16-13, Red on top. Back at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska, the annual red-white scrimmage. Nebraska's spring game, Red on top now 17-13. Let's review what happened last year for Nebraska. They started the season with a win over Wyoming. Then the loss to UCLA after leading at the half, 21-10, and actually at one point had a 17-point lead in that game. Westerkamp's Hail Mary pass against Northwestern. And they finished on a really good note in that win against an SEC team in the Gator Bowl to finish the season at 9-4, 5-3 in the Big Ten Conference, second in their division.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes, a lot of times, people want to, well, sometimes, a lot of times, a lot of times, people want to poo-poo bowl games. And I felt like for Nebraska, it was pretty imperative that they play well to start to garner some momentum with a little feel-good about the program.
So we're going to take a look at another drill as we're here between first and second quarters. This is the lockdown drill, Damon. As it was described to us earlier today, they will shoot the ball through the jugs machine. They want that ball to land somewhere near the goal line, and the idea is that by the time the ball carrier has the ball, the defenders are within 10 yards. Don't give them an opportunity to get going.
And it's one of those multifunctional drills where you have a 2-on-2 at the line of scrimmage. So as the defender's trying to keep those gunners off of you, you want to keep your hips parallel. Don't open the gate and let guys run by you. As the bullets, you want to find the football. As the punt returner, you want to get vertical immediately. It is a nice little 3-in-1 drill where you're getting a lot of work done with few bodies.
So you will see 2 bullets heading down, 2 defenders. Opportunity to make a miss, and one that time by the punt coverage team.
Yeah, see, that's a good job by Bando winning. He won right at the line of scrimmage. You can't allow the 235-pounder to come down full speed like that. That's got to get hands on him. Keep those hips parallel as long as you can if you're on that return team.
So here.
That's an outstanding job by Gladney. See, that was an accident waiting to happen. you know how I like to watch games. I don't even follow the football. I like to follow what happens up front. See, Gladney run right away. He had Cockrell outside the hash. You knew that there was going to be a gate to be had.
And Jamal Turner found it. So Jamal Turner, the return man on that one. The return man here will be Terrell Newby.
Uh-oh, 2 free releases by the Gunners. This should not go well.
But Terrell Newby finds a way to make it happen.
2 guys unblocked. Ought not allow that to happen.
That's right.
But that's Mr. Electric being elected. Look at this. Now, see, Leroy Alexander's trying to get back inside. He felt himself getting squeezed. He guessed. Now, maybe Gary could have made that play on the tap. But I don't know. I'd like to see him get his head across.
So now Jordan Nelson back deep on the lockdown drill, and Nelson got himself some space.
Oh, that is taboo, Jordan. You can't allow the punter to get his hands on you. And his buddies will let him hear about that. All you need to watch is really what happens at the line of scrimmage. If White wins, it should be a tackle. If Red wins, it should be a house call.
So now back deep on the final one is Jordan Westerkamp. Nifty moves by Westerkamp to keep his feet. And so that is the lockdown drill. So an opportunity to take a look at a couple of drills here in between breaks. The 3-on-1 and the lockdown drill.
And what it helps you focus on the specific areas of your punt return team and your punt coverage team without needing all 11 guys on the field. It simulates just about what everybody's going to have to do at some point or another in the kicking game. It's a pretty complete drill.
We are at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska for the 2014 Nebraska Red-White Scrimmage, the annual spring game. Nebraska offense has put it in the end zone twice in quarter number 1.
As we see Zach Darlington.
So you'll see a green jersey on the field at quarterback for the red team, and that is Zach Darlington, the true freshman out of Florida.
Well, I tell you, that's an easy guy to root for and a great story. Tremendous junior year, highly recruited. Nebraska gets him coming out as a senior, a very good get. He suffers a devastating hit. It was his second concussion, sat out the remainder of the season. The young man has found his way to Lincoln.
And still wearing the green jersey, off limits to the hit as that goes outside to Nelson. That'll bring up 3rd down, but you're right, just a terrific story. The 6'2" freshman out of Florida.
Famed high school of Apopka. I think you and I would both agree they play pretty good football at Apopka.
And of course, Zach Darlington, the coach's kid, so he's well schooled as well. Goes up top over the middle and picked off. No flag on the play. And the interception, the second one for the White number 1 defense.
Now, we've talked a lot about
Anthony Ritter on the pick. Sorry, Damon.
We've talked a lot about this secondary, and although that was the 3rd unit,
Yep.
still very little separation between defensive backs and wide receivers. We have seen tight coverage from start to finish, and I said a couple of weeks ago, this was primarily more on our morning show, but I wondered, and it's still early, but if Nebraska has got an area where they need to get better in the passing game, in my opinion, given their personnel, it will be the ability to get separation for chunk plays downfield. I still think that's an area they're going to have to get. You got to shake a Kenny Belfry, a Sam Birch, a Jamal Turner, and Alonzo Moore when he's healthy. Can Nebraska get chunk plays in the passing game over the top?
So the interception, second of the day, one for the first team and one for the third team. Check that. This is Edgar Fife in there, quarterback. There's Newby. Good run by Terrell Newby.
Hey, don't blink. That was Courtney Love, that ran down Terrell Newby at an angle as we take a look at the replay. Love is playing the weak side, so he's coming from left hash to right hash and gets his head in front on the tackle. Write that one down. That kid can run. Don't let the size fool you.
Courtney Love is a 6'1 redshirt freshman. Goes 240.
And Coach Pelini said they have moved him specifically to the will, just the will this year. Second miscommunication here on that blitz. Nebraska a lot of times likes to use their corner from the boundary blitz, and they'll bring pressure, helps fit in the run game. Safety's got to rotate over. That's the second time that they haven't gotten there.
Tariq Allen with the catch from Riker Fife. Riker's been impressive here.
He has. He's extremely accurate in his command.
Newby again with some room across the 50.
That offense hasn't really skipped a beat in terms of pace. I think people wondered, okay, is this just window dressing? Is Riker Fife really, can he be the guy? He looks to be a guy that can be a pretty good quarterback.
Slow to get up
Anticipate him blocking,
along
and you just blitz him.
that offensive line.
The only time you need to take him is if
Corey Whitaker, I believe.
That's when you offset. That's when you well, if
They'll help him off the field.
Well, that's outstanding. How about our guys? Just Johnny's on the spot down there with. See, that's good dialogue where you're coaching on the fly. And it's like Coach Pelini talked to us about this morning. You can talk concept, you can talk scheme, but there are those times when you're out there on the field where it's site-based. And you have to go with what you see, and there's not always going to be somebody to tell you out there. And right there, Love getting coached up a little bit on, because he was at an angle, this is what you should do.
First down and 10 for this red team, led by Fife. Good defensive pressure. Play by Chris Weber, the linebacker for the white team. One more look at Weber. Sheds the tackle, makes the play.
That's a way to be strong at the point of attack.
Looks for that crease.
I tell you, see if our guys in the truck can cue that up. See, that's just a young guy being young. You got the little G scheme. The guard comes around the pull. That hole was clean in there for a good. Take a look at the replay. Watch the guard come around in short set. Stay right, stay right. Rose is locked up. You've got a nice crease. Just got to stick your face in there and hit that.
5 complete to Lane Hovey. There's a name that we're going to hear a lot of.
Another guy they like a lot.
6'4", 210. Out of Adele, Iowa, number 45 on the red team.
Big, big body.
So turned over on downs. Two teams will switch.
Again, hey, right here, you had to pan the camera on that guy as long as we can.
They're gonna overset you, right?
One of the little hidden gems that's not so hidden anymore in Coach Kaczynski. I think he does an outstanding job, not only in his teaching, but demanding that young men eventually mature. Hey, his style isn't for everyone, but if you want to grow up and grow up as a man, listen to that guy. He is a great recruiter as well.
White on top, 2017. Tommy Armstrong back in there at quarterback.
Good ball right there.
Just over the outstretched hands of Greg McMullen and complete to Tariq Allen.
How about Nebraska defensively coming with a zone dog? They've got McMullen playing D, and watch him drop to play hook to curl. Look at the big fella. Oh, I see you, 90. That's outstanding athleticism and a great read by TA, because he's not supposed to be there.
There's the big dynamite cross again. Cross with a gain of 16 on the play.
I tell you, for a 230-pound guy, he's got some shake to his jello here a little bit. And the other thing is when you take a look at Nebraska being successful on the edges in the run game, how long are these receivers locking these guys up? Outside zone is a long time to hold your blocks. Nebraska's receivers doing work.
Andy Janovich in there at fullback for Nebraska. The big-bodied backfield right now. And leading the way for Amani Cross, who cuts it up inside. Cross with room. Cross to the end zone. Touchdown. 39 yards for Amani Cross. And he's having a spring game.
Beautiful job. Now, see, there's versatility for you, big fella. Watch him find the cutback crease. That's an onside play. He saw the first available crease, which is how you get to zone. Squares the shoulders, gets north and south. Katie bar the door, and the big guy finds the end zone. Beautiful read as he sees it. Watch this. Stretch, stretch, stretch. No, let me get vertical. I'm going to put my foot in the ground and race. I see the crease. I saw the crease. I was the crease. Give me all 6 of them. Look at this. Speeding through the hole.
Extra point is good. Grant Schumacher in there for the extra point.
I tell you, that's good work. And Coach Quinney talked about him being comfortable in his own skin and being back to the big guy that we recruited you. And you can still be fast, but conversely, if you're on the other end, you can't allow yourself, if you're DJ Singleton, to have that crease split by the big fella. And I know it's 3D, and he's coming at you in your kitchen, but you better find a way to close the distance between you and the big fella when you got a 10-yard head start.
Well, time now for another drill.
The same shit every day.
And this one will be Bo Pelini taking on Kenny Bell in a throwing competition.
Oh, my goodness. My man KB has the sun hat. This guy's going to be running for... It's a good thing Heineman is served his limit, because those folks seeking that gubernatorial seat would have to put up with this guy. He could run for mayor. He could run for governor. And somebody better eventually look out for president.
So here's the challenge. It was Coach Pelini apparently challenging Kenny Bell to a goalpost throwing challenge. Each line up at the 30, and each will have 3 attempts to throw the ball and hit the goalpost in the south end zone.
We saw Coach Pelini this morning. He had the Indians t-shirt on. You think he's got that noodle warmed up?
He's out there warming up.
You know, these guys spend some time doing this kind of jacking around at practice. But this one is for real with 60,000 watching you. My money's actually on Coach Pelini here. He might only have one good throw in him, but I think he'll make the most of it.
Well, there's a look at Kenny Bell and Bo Pelini. So Kenny Bell,
there's his best campaign spiel right there.
just being introduced. Throw number 1 from Kenny. Trying to hit the goalpost. Just missed. So now, Bo Pelini attempt number 1. Each gets 3 tries. And Bo comes up well short.
My money's on the lefty. He's going to gauge that trajectory here next time around. He's playing to win.
So Kenny Bell's second attempt. Got it. Hit the crossbar.
Here we go. Here we go. There goes that man. He is something else.
And Bo just watches it, very unimpressed.
Oh, he's trying to guide it. You gotta let her rip, Coach. Now, if he hits this, we'll never hear the end of it. I mean, this will be full-fledged Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey circus. Here we go.
And Kenny Bell has won it.
Hey, that's the presidential wave. You like that?
And the third throw for Bo Pelini. That time just over the top of the crossbar.
How about the wave?
Let's go down to the field. I think Will Shields has somehow gathered in Kenny Bell.
Okay.
I just want you to know that I beat him every day.
Okay.
That was fixed.
He
We fixed
predicted
it this
the
time.
first one, but then he ended up hitting 2 in a row.
That's pretty talented.
That's pretty talented.
He almost missed it outside.
Well, great job, sir.
All right, thanks, Will. Thanks, Kenny. Thanks, Coach. So that is our third drill of the afternoon here at the Nebraska Spring Game at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln. Back at the red-white scrimmage here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Second team offense in there. That's good for a first down, a gain of 6 yards.
If you're into offense, two guys to keep an eye on here that I think have a chance. Kevin Gladney, he's just a pup. Good route runner, can go play a ball in the air. He's got good toughness, too. He's out there at number 81. Good guy to take a look at. And then number 79, Dwayne Johnson Jr. playing some right tackle.
Nelson with the carry. This is a stacked backfield for this Nebraska team.
Yeah, you think they've got options?
Yeah.
And they can get at you with their top four in a lot of different ways. Amir, he's Mr. Complete. Then there's Amani Cross, who can get you with power, and we just saw a little bit of the lightning. And Terrell Newby, who can home run Cretia. They're all just a little bit different.
Out near first down, past midfield for Nelson.
Well, I tell you, I like Ritter. Ritter is not afraid to put his face in there. Double deuce is on the loose. He has played downhill, and he's got a pick to his credit, too, so he's shown you some versatility as well.
Anthony Ritter, cornerback for this Husker defense. 3rd and 1 now, and the give again to Nelson. Stiff arm, trying to get the corner. Has enough for the first.
That hammer that just dropped was Ishmael Jackson. They like Ishmael Jackson. He's made kind of the switch and settled in at the cornerback spot. He's enjoying a good spring. He's still young, learning the position, but watch him fit in the run game. Get off of me, head across. I touch you, you go down. That's the general rule of thumb that you want to work with as a defender.
Do you remember the big buzz when Ishmael Jackson visited for his official recruiting visit?
Yeah, he's related to somebody that's pretty popular.
Matt Damon was his uncle.
Love the namesake. He's got any game?
We were going to have Matt Damon on with us today, but
well, you couldn't find. You couldn't find the right identity.
We don't have time for Matt Damon today.
What did you play?
Yeah, he's constantly messing with his identity, isn't he?
Timeout, injury on the field. This is the one thing you do not want in a spring game, Damon.
No. You don't even want to speculate and play doctor up here. So I'm pointing a little bit to his midsection.
While we're here in this middle of the injury timeout, let's go down to the sideline with Will. He is with a Olympic medal winner. Will.
Hey, how you guys doing? We're down here with Kurt Thomas-Savage, and I got a question for him. A couple. Actually, he went to 3 different Olympics. Is there going to be a 4th?
Probably not another 4th Olympics. You know, it's the Olympics for every year. It might be a different decision, I guess, but every 4 years, it's a long time. It's a full college career in between there.
Now, with the training difference from you being a football player to that, what was the big difference in transition?
Honestly, just the conditioning is the biggest difference. But, you know, here at the University of Nebraska and in Boyd Epley's program, Husker Power taught me, you know, strength and speed, squats and cleans, you know, sprints, all that plays a huge part in pushing a bobsled.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you coming, but what I really wanted to know is that, you know, give other guys opportunity to think of something else after football.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's the type of sport where, you know, linebacker, safety, running back, you know, 6'1", 220, 230 pounds, they make really good push athletes.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Will. Thanks to Kurt Thomas-Savage. Won the bronze medal in the Sochi Olympics, gold medal in the previous. Here's a look at his Olympic and Husker career. He was a linebacker at Nebraska, late 90s, early 2000s. First team academic All-American citizenship team, and then won the gold and bronze medals. Nelson's showing some nifty moves here, too.
Yeah, I like him. I've coached him once upon a time in another life in his high school career, so I've seen him up close and personal. He's extremely explosive. He's good in small spaces, and he's a tough guy. He just hasn't been able to shake the injury bug. I told him, you know, he ought to look at a Twinkie or swallow a cupcake and ingest a little fat, because he's one great big muscle, so he's wound pretty tight.
So that offense turns it over on downs.
That'll change the score.
26-20. What this offensive line that we alluded to earlier, Damon, you think about losing guys like Spencer Long and Cole Spencer and Brett Qualley and Andrew Rodriguez and Jeremiah Searles, all of those guys starters last year. And yet, in our conversation with Bo Pelini, he was really pleased with where this offensive line is.
Absolutely, especially when they're healthy. He liked the development of the young guys, guys like David Neville. You know, Alex Lewis has got big-time playing experience coming from Colorado, but he likes his development. Then you got a lot of the young guys. Ryan Reeves, when he is healthy, is coming along. He's talked about Gibbons, Morty Price, and Chongo Condolo, and hello.
Big pop there by Zach Stovall.
Capable of laying the lumber. You see he's got that nice thick trunk, and he plays with confidence. Watch him fit in the run game. And that's not a little guy. That's Adam Taylor. I mean, that's the guy that has grown to like Paul Bunyan-esque tails in terms of how many guys he's truck stick throughout this spring as well.
There's the numbers on Stovall from Bellevue, Nebraska, but you did mention Adam Taylor in there now, 6'2", 210, a redshirt freshman from Katy, Texas at the running back spot, and he has grown to legendary proportions. What a grab there by your guy, Hovey.
Yeah, he's just growing into his body and kind of being comfortable with being a big guy. He's a matchup problem for guys because he's got such length and size. The next phase for him will be playing with confidence. Watch him go get this one. Give it here.
Out of ADM High School in Iowa, Adele, Iowa, 6'4" frame, as you mentioned. Taylor gets the carry. Nope, the keeper on the outside by Stanton.
This is what he does.
Stanton pulled it out of the belly. Nice gain on first down for 15 yards.
Yeah, he puts the dual in dual threat, and a lot of times as we take a look at the replay here, I think people wonder where are the reports after scrimmages or practice. It's game-type environments where Stanton's going to have his best chance to shine because he's got a little unorthodox to his game that in improvisation, because he's such a good athlete, you get to see it out here.
Looking up top, tipped around. Incomplete. We talked about Adam Taylor being in the game, the running back here. He was the scout team MVP last year.
Yeah, he's a full-grown man trapped in a 19-year-old body. He's got the full beard, and he's got muscles where you ought not. Still learning that game a little bit. That was a keep. That should have been a keep for Mr. Stanton.
Shut down up front by Kevin Maurice, who's going to be a factor inside in that interior defensive line for the Huskers.
And a name that kind of surprised that we see out there patrolling that second group, our first group, is Mr. David Santos, who we saw not have a ton of success at the mic, was pulled for a little bit. They moved him to the will. They started one gap a little bit more in their run game, and now he's playing a buck where I believe if the season started today, he'd probably be the starting buck.
Completion over the middle from Stanton to Taylor out of the backfield. Taylor actually lined up in the slot. And a flag on the play. It looks like it might be holding on the offense.
Is it just me, or do you think that Coach Pelini has a grasp for the offense as well? Because as many times as he used check down and take what the defense gives you, and two of the bigger passing plays that we've seen, although that one will be negated, were on check downs.
You saw the hold in the middle by Paul Thurston. Almost drug Logan Rath to the ground. So that'll back them up and bring up a long third down and 23.
Not a ton of plays in the playbook for this one.
Stanton to a wide open receiver. First down and still running is Kevin Gladney. And Kevin Gladney with the completion and the touchdown. Maybe not a lot of plays, but they found one.
Yep, it was a combination route. He ran the little corner route, sat down on the curl. They bit and sat short. Why? I don't know, but depending on which side you're a fan of, if you want to see good defense, it's like, oh my goodness, they're giving up another chunk play on defense on third down, which was their Achilles a year ago. The inability to get off the field on third and longs really hurt Nebraska. But if you're a fan of the offense, you're looking at a good pitch catch and a nice concept route. That guy right there, Kenny Bell, he's almost too cool for school, isn't he? The glasses and the sun hat, is he ready for the beach?
Extra point by Bondi is wide. One more look at the completion from Stanton to Kevin Gladney.
Little concept, you run the flat route with the tailback to hold the corner. You run the post to carry the safety or the corner, and then you run the corner route and see if somebody bites. And unfortunately, if you're a fan of that white defense, they bit. It didn't just nibble. They chomped to give up 6.
So that will do it for the first half action. At the half, 34-21. Red on top of the white after the touchdown from Kevin Gladney. Let's go down to Will, who is on the field.
Well, they told me I could call you JP because that's what they go with. What do you think of the first half of this practice?
Some good and some bad, like all kind of practices are. You know, we were a little sloppy tackling at times, which I don't like. I thought the defense came out with some good energy early, got the turnover right off the bat. A couple takeaways are good, but too many big plays and, too many missed tackles. But, we don't game plan each other, so there's some things that we were probably in that probably didn't quite fit what our offense is doing.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
No problem. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Will. Thanks to Coach Papuchis. We are at half at Memorial Stadium of the Red-White game. 34-21, Red on top. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska. We are at halftime of the annual Red-White game, 34-21. And you see the pledge being taken here at the halftime, the drug-free pledge. And terrific spring game. I'm joined now by the Nebraska Director of Athletics, Sean Eichhorst. Thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Well, thanks, Larry. Good to be here.
In your little more than a year, you have never sought out publicity, but you are always very readily available. Why is that important to you?
Well, I think since day one, when I arrived, what's important to me is to provide the support and the stable support necessary, I think, for our young people to flourish. And so it's an approach I've always taken and one that's always worked for me. My focus is really behind the scenes on doing what I can do to help the coaches and the student athletes be successful and, more importantly, serve the University of Nebraska in the way I think folks want it served, and that's to preserve the great academic institution it is. So just kind of my approach. It isn't everybody's approach, but one I'm comfortable with.
In your more than 175 appearances across the state, you've obviously seen the passion for this university, the passion across the entire state. I'm just curious, in your experience, is that unique to Nebraska?
I don't know if it's unique to Nebraska based on my experience, but it's certainly very special. It's unique to the people who are Nebraskans, that's for sure. And I knew that coming in. I worked with a guy that went here and thinks a lot about his experience here at Nebraska, Coach Alvarez. And so from day to day with him, I learned the Nebraska way. So, coming in, I knew it was going to be like that. And I recognized it really quickly, in that short tenure I had when Tom was still in the seat and I was waiting to take over. When you can see a group of people be so passionate and interested in a fan base and oftentimes be critical of Tom.
Right.
And you're going to expect that's going to come down your way, too. So, but in a very, very good way. I understand what all folks want here at the University of Nebraska, and I just hope to be able to be a part of that.
We really appreciate you joining us.
Thank you so much, Larry.
Nebraska Director of Athletics, Sean Eichhorst. We're at halftime of the annual Red-White scrimmage here in Lincoln.
Could they see it real good? Could they?
Everybody just started playing.
For real, in October, November, can I bring that up? Yeah, you can. What do you think of that?
Bo Pelini's conversation pregame as he came out through the tunnel with the Cat. Now let's go down to the field. Will Shields is with Tim Beck.
Hey, Coach. First half, what do you feel? Halftime.
Well, you know, I wasn't pleased with the turnovers. We've been pretty good all spring of protecting the football, but overall good. You know, we've been playing all our guys, you know, pretty dumbed down offensively, but giving our guys a chance to go out there. We're young offensively, offensive line, quarterbacks, and this is a great test for them. I love the atmosphere, and it's been a lot of fun so far.
And how's your young line faring so far?
Not bad, not bad. We've had a couple guys going the wrong way, like always. You've probably been there one time when you were young, remember?
Yes, I do.
Although you probably didn't go the wrong way very much.
All right, well, thank you, Coach. I appreciate it.
You got it.
Back to you guys.
Well, you should have told him you never went the wrong way. It's all Americans don't go the wrong way, right?
You know, there was a crash that we had in the backfield at one point. It happens, you know. That's the problem. I thought he said 15, not 16.
Will Shields joining us from the sideline throughout the afternoon, handling sideline duties. Good action here in this first half of play of Nebraska's annual red-white scrimmage. And Damon, I thought a good look at a lot of the guys who could play critical roles coming up in the fall.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing. And now this was funny, you know, because we were talking to Coach Pelini this morning, and I said, Coach, you realize you're not going to have a two-year starter that's returning on defense. And he says,
hadn't thought of it.
I hadn't thought of that.
That's right.
You know, outside of the part-time guy, Cooper's the closest at safety. But I mean, when you just talk about the youth and trying to grow, I think it's a great reason for optimism too, because in the term that he used, they're light years ahead of where they were a year ago. Because remember, and I was shocked when he said it. He told us this morning. He didn't know the first 4 or 5 games coming out of spring if they're going to be able to stop anybody.
Right.
So
he said that today.
Yeah.
Right.
He's like, guys, and I didn't think we were going to be able to stop anybody.
And I think the term he used was light years. We are light years ahead right now of where we were at this point last year. So certainly good news for Nebraska football fans. We talked about that stacked backfield, Damon, and we've gotten a look at all of the running backs with the exception of Amir Abdullah. And here they are. It's Abdullah, the senior, who you will not see at all today, although Amir really was lobbying for some time. Didn't work. Amani Cross, who scored twice and had a terrific afternoon. And then a couple of young guns, including this guy right here, Terrell Newby.
Yeah, and they've got 2 more coming in with Bussy and gosh, his name escapes me. Come on, DB.
I wish I could help you, Damon.
I'm drawing a blank. So you're going to have some super studs.
Mikel Wilbon.
That's it. And so you're thinking, and they all do, with the exception of the Young Bucks, the 4 that are out here right now, they're just a little bit different in terms of their style. So I think they can find a way to utilize it.
Under pressure. Armstrong got rid of it, goes to the outside of Kenny Bell.
Now, see, in my opinion, that's a little bit, you don't want to overdo it, but that's what you get in spring. That's a timing route. Nebraska heated Armstrong up a little bit, and he missed his mark. And that's kind of what you want to do with this offense. It's a timing passing game. You know, they try to stay in rhythm. When you can disrupt it and force the double clutch, typically good things are going to happen for you for a defense.
3rd down and 9 here for Tommy Armstrong Jr. Under pressure again, rolling to his right. And a run out of bounds. Another point for the white team on the sack. He is now 3 of 7 for 47 yards and an interception.
Boy, I tell you, if you're looking for somebody to play opposite Gregory, you better watch number 90 today. McMullen has been a man and a terror. Not only, we watched him drop back in the zone dog, the little the zone fire dog that he ran where he dropped to play hook to curl. But he's been unblockable today. getting after the passer. And it's like it's what Bo said. When you watch good players play in front of you long enough and you see the light at the end of the tunnel, you figure out a way to go get it. As Coach Pelini's given up, he's going to let somebody else call the defense.
But it looks like that Katie Dobb, who is one of the Nebraska cheerleaders, is actually calling the plays right now. And if this goes well,
they ought to let her.
Tim Beck may want to rethink.
Well, that's amazing. So what does Coach Pelini do? He comes off the edge, taking advantage of the novice. But listening to Coach Pelini talk about that D-line, I mean, he's giving them glowing reports. He says, you got to be patient, Damon. You got to be patient. We're still young, but we're coming.
Johnny Stanton now in there at quarterback for the Red offense.
That's a good little stick throw, a little hook to curl.
Tariq Allen on the reception. That's his third catch of the day.
It's good to see Tariq Allen playing well. You know, he had the horrific knee injury. People were very upset about how it occurred. Right. Came back towards the tail end of last year, was not the same player. He's playing with confidence now. He's a big body. He's got long arms.
A lot of folks who've been watching, and I know you watched a lot of spring practice, said that Tariq Allen has really been one of the best receivers throughout the spring camp.
Hey, he's pretty complete. He can get vertical. He's a good route runner. He helps you in your intermediate game. And he's tenacious outside the numbers. Usually when he gets his hands on you, he can lock you up for quite a bit. This is amazing right here as you take a look at this.
Wait. Give us some motivation. Tariq! Hey, Tariq! Tariq! Listen, we need 1 yard for a first down. We were short, so we got to get 1 yard.
Come on, boys, she says.
Boys, 1 yard.
And they can't even focus. They're like, what'd she say again? Whatever she said.
We won't be surprised if there is a false start penalty or illegal motion or
guys wiping each other's chins. Come on.
Third down and 1. Stanton still in there at quarterback. Stanton 4 for 5 on the afternoon. He's completed his passes to 4 different receivers.
Yeah, that's impressive. And what I liked about that is that's another little facet of Nebraska's offense where if you want to be complete and you want to be a good team in the Big Ten in November, you got to be able to run the ball when you have to, not when you want to. On 3rd and 1, I'm sure the whole stadium knew it was going to be a run. Found a way to convert anyway.
In the backfield now, along with Stanton, is Adam Taylor. Stanton goes up top just over Tariq Allen.
Old number 7 got away with one. He put his hand down the field for his defender and lost track of where the sight line was in the air.
Tariq Allen, the 6'3", 200-pound junior out of Weston, Massachusetts. One more look, you'll see the shove right there.
Take a look at Stanton's footwork. That's not bad. He stood tall in the pocket. It was a clean pocket, which makes it a little easier to be big.
2nd and 10, she's throwing you up.
So 11 right Iowa is the call.
It's out there too.
And here's Turner. Little shake and bake to him. And a first down for Jamal Turner.
Well, I'd say that's a good job of getting off blocks by Ishmael Jackson to kind of slow that play down.
Can't tell if that's a 15 or a 12. It's either Boaz or Ishmael. But either way, good job by that corner. But getting off. You don't want to be Velcro out there. You know, you don't want things to stick to you. Boaz found a way to get off that block.
That was Joseph out there at that left corner. Stanton again out of the backfield, finds his man. Impressive start here for Johnny Stanton.
He seems to have relaxed a little bit.
Yeah.
Doesn't have the little hiccup. Is in a nice little rhythm.
11, doubles right, left flash side.
Take a look at the verbiage, and you can see everybody at home probably just thinking,
gosh, that's a lot of talking. It all means something.
Complete for the first
Good little concept route. Turner shows the little bubble. They close. It opens up a nice little window for the hitch, and that was delivered on time. That's what you like to see from the young fella, because that means he understands what the concept of the offense is. That's a good thing.
Complete to Tyler Evans out of Waverly, Nebraska.
Outstanding job, too, by DJ Foster and pass pro as well. Nebraska likes their tight ends. Coach Beck and those guys, you probably need to add one, but they really like Foster. They like Greg Hart. You think they can help him in the passing game?
Turner again. Turner with a nifty stop and go, and in there for the touchdown.
See, that's what he's capable of. And the outstanding thing about JT is, and you never know when this is going to happen, but how about when Coach Pelini said, as we take a look at the replay coming up here, you never know when the light switch is going to come on. Watch the stand and deliver here from Stanton. Taylor's ability, the ski skirt, that'll work. Give me the dive. All 6 of those as well. You never know when that light bulb is going to come on. And even for a guy that's been in the program as long as Taylor, he said he struck him as the type of guy when he would give him instruction that he was talking to everybody else but him. And Bo finally had to tell him during the spring break, yeah, Jamal, I'm talking to you. And he said Jamal has answered the dinner bell. That was a great story, because you understand how that works with kids in the maturation process.
So the light's starting to flicker now.
Yeah, he said it's a flicker. We're seeing. He said, let's see if it stays on.
That's right.
I was like, are we talking kerosene? Are we talking JT?
So successful play call for a touchdown by the Nebraska cheer squad. It was a 25-yard completion. 8 plays, 70-yard drive. Red on top.
Although he's been kind of sketchy.
So back here at Memorial Stadium in Lincoln, Nebraska. 43-24, red on top after the touchdown reception from Johnny Stanton to Jamal Turner. Now in there at quarterback, wearing the green jersey is Zach Darlington. Out of Apopka, Florida, quarterback, 6'2", 205. We talked about his struggles with concussions early. And with a man in his face, he gets that away.
Good pitch and catch right there. Darlington throwing to a spot, and then Hovey using a nice hands catch. That's a long way to reach for a guy that's 6'4", 210 to get below his waist. On the dead sprint, anyway. Try that at home. Let me know how that works out for you.
Flag on the play. Execution, one of the things that man talked about this morning in our conversation. He said this offense will make big plays. We've got outstanding talent. We'll make big plays, but when we have to, when we need to drive the ball, we need to be able to execute. And it's really been the focal point, one of the focal points here in spring for this offense.
Thought the signature moment might have came last Monday on that 14-play move the ball drive where the first-team offense put one together against the first-team defense and find a way to convert on some critical third downs. Said he pulled Tommy Armstrong to the side and said, no, that's what I'm talking about.
Time now to head back down to the sideline. Will Shield is with some very special guests, the Hoffman family. Will?
How you guys doing? Hey, Jack, I got a question for you. I know I got to see you last year. What grade are you in and how old are you?
I'm in 2nd grade and I'm 8.5.
Awesome. Hey, you know, last year I was on the field when you actually ran your touchdown. I was wondering, with all the different confusion and everything else, how did you know when to stop running when you went for the touchdown?
My dad told me to just hit the fence.
So he told you to run all the way to the fence, and then you knew you were in the end zone. Awesome. Well, I was going to actually talk to you a little bit and ask you, how was your year after that run? Sort of what happened after that?
You know, it was an amazing year. You know, the run, I always tell people, you know, Jack didn't just score a touchdown for the red team. He didn't score a touchdown for the Huskers. He really scored a touchdown for pediatric brain cancer. You know, what we were able to do with the platform that gave us in terms of raising national awareness for pediatric brain cancer, raising money for research, was really outstanding. And we're really forever grateful to the University of Nebraska, head football coach Bo Pelini for these amazing opportunities.
And also there's a foundation and actually there's an event coming up. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, the Team Jack Foundation has partnered up with Larry the Cable Guy. April 25th, there's going to be an event at Pinnacle Bank Arena right here in Lincoln, and so we're hoping Husker fans turn out and support a great cause. Larry the Cable Guy has so graciously donated a concert for the foundation, and so 100% of the proceeds are going to go to support child brain cancer research.
Okay, and now the other two big things that happened to you this year. How was it winning an ESPY?
You know, that was really an amazing experience. It's really unlike anything we've ever experienced. We're straight from the farm, and so to be out in Los Angeles, California with a bunch of athletes was pretty crazy.
And then, of course, of all the people in the stadium, how was it meeting the president?
Awesome.
Cool. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Back to you guys upstairs.
Thanks, Will, and thanks very much to the Hoffman family for joining us. Just a remarkable story, thinking 1 year ago today, it was that amazing run in which Jack ran into the hearts of millions of Americans, ended up winning the best moment in sports, ESPY. And here's some statistics on pediatric brain cancer. And Jack, who's now in remission. It's October of 2013. And Jack is now paying it forward as there are some other young brain cancer patients who are looking up to Jack and want to meet Jack, and he's actually scheduled a visit with some others who are suffering from the same disease or illness that he has.
He's got a 5-year-old Ollie that has looked up to Jack's story and kind of his plight, and you just never know how far-reaching a deal like this can go. And Jack, again, like you said, paying it forward and being in remission. I mean, that alone is a statistical anomaly. Yeah. To see where he's out and enjoying himself. Hats off to that young man and that family.
There haven't been many penalties today, but there is one. Jake Cotton.
Now, right now is where you see a little fatigue. Look at these two.
Amir Abdullah on the right. No introduction for the man on the left.
I mean, that is all Hollywood.
And it's rare because number 8 is all business.
That was a stare down.
Boy, great pitch and catch right there. And there's that man. And how glowing a report did we get on Charles Jackson this morning? And it was unsolicited, and I don't believe it was lip service.
Let's go down to Will. Looks like he's with some characters.
Yeah, you know, what's up with the hats and the glasses and the shades, all that good stuff? What's that?
Shoot, man. Senior year, we're just trying to have a lot of fun. You know, it goes fast. You know, we can't believe we're seniors already, and we're just trying to have fun with everything we do from this point out.
Just trying to have some fun.
Yeah, it goes fast, man.
It's been a long trip, and this is the last time we're doing everything. So just thought we'd come out, play some football, and then when we're done, have some fun.
Well, the throwing competition, I was wondering, y'all do that every day?
Every day? I don't think Bo will want to do it every day anymore.
So it's just something that goes periodically or something like that?
It's something you grab a ball after practice and just start throwing them. Just mess around.
Awesome. Oh, and then the celebration, you know, the run around the field kind of thing, you know, almost like a soccer kind of thing. Is that where you pull that from, or just?
Soccer and hockey are my favorite sports to watch, so I think I did pull that a little bit from Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
You can expect that a lot this year. You know, after he scores, you know, just a quick victory lap, then resume play. You know, no big deal. No big deal.
Now, do you guys get a chance to actually talk a little trash to the coaches when you do certain things and that work?
Oh, yeah. The defense will never hear the end of this. If this goes on like this, yeah, the defense is going to hear it for a while, especially until camp.
Yeah, Bo messed up now, man.
Yeah.
He shouldn't enter his name in that contest. Yeah. Now he lost.
Now he had to stamp his name on that one. He lost. Yeah. He's gonna be not very happy.
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. Back to you guys upstairs.
All right, thanks, Will. Thanks to Amir and Kenny as well. Terrific carry there by Taylor.
Yeah, you see him move the pile. He's a north and south guy. And he's a combination guy. He can give you some speed, he can give you some power. He's got just enough wiggle to keep himself healthy and not enough to jeopardize the defender's health.
There he is again.
And you can hear the pads crack. I mean, our parabolic mics are good, but a lot of that is that young man down there. He's laying some lumber.
Riker Fife leading this drive for the Red offense. And a good look here.
Gibbons
at Adam
Price and Sterrup. Both those guys have been really, really good.
Stirrup, a 4-star recruit out of high school.
Great read.
Good pick by Fife. Riker keeps it himself inside the 5. Near a first down to the 3-yard line. Zach Stirrup, 6'8", 315, out of Hastings, St. Cecilia in Hastings, Nebraska. So 3rd down and about a yard. Give to Taylor, leans forward. Should have enough for the first down. Red trying to add to that 45-31 lead. Now in is Terrell Newby. Newby near the goal line. Newby rushed for 298 yards in his freshman year at Nebraska. Well, really wanted him to get a little more north and south this year, and he does it right there, and therefore the touchdown.
Getting skinny through the hole. Not a long way to go, but I do like the fact he kept his shoulders parallel to the line of scrimmage.
So Red on the board again on the touchdown by Terrell Newby.
Those guys are something else.
The crowd has not gone anywhere as the extra point up there through and good by Grant Schumacher. So Newby with the touchdown. The drive led by Riker Fife. And that Red offense continues to look sharp. So we head to the final quarter of play from Memorial Stadium in Lincoln. So back at Memorial Stadium, 52-31 Red on top of White in the official scoring system here of this Red-White spring game. Getting set for our final drill. And this is a punt, pass, and kick of former players. So Kurt Tomasevich, Jeremiah Searles.
Former offensive lineman Jeremiah Searles.
So there's Searles.
Joining him on the field is former Nebraska soccer goalie.
He's also... So apparently Kurt Tomasevich has somebody holding his gold and bronze medal from the Olympics so he can compete here.
Super Bowl winning Denver Broncos, Tony Veland.
Tony Veland in the competition.
And competing in the kick will be former Husker quarterback and current NFL referee Clete Blakeman.
See Clete Blakeman on Sundays frequently as the head official on Cruise.
NFL veteran Barrett Ruud.
And there's Barrett Ruud. The fans still remember the Ruud. Tomasevich with the punt. Get an official distance there. 45, is that?
Hey, you're a better mathematician.
All right. So there's Searles getting ready to kick. But Searles goes backwards, and his girlfriend Emma Stevens, former Husker.
I believe that's a yes. I believe that is absolutely a yes. How about that?
getting out of the way before I see the dog pile.
All the big guys congratulating Searles.
Look, he's gonna faint because you just got to know this is not in his wheelhouse.
His girlfriend and I would assume now fiance is Emma Stevens, a former Nebraska soccer player.
I don't believe he probably had to ask. You think he said much?
I don't think. So I'm getting down on a knee, and I think.
Look, hey, is there a defib out there? Is there?
He's pretty little heavy, isn't he?
No. It's got me a little nervous. Like a cotton mouth. Get that guy some water. He said, hold on, I've got one more surprise.
And Tony Veland.
Here's Tony Veland. Played with Veland, didn't you, DB?
I did. He can wing
He's still got it going.
it. He came in as a quarterback.
That's right. So now former quarterback and now NFL official Cleet Blakeman. So Cleet gets to kick, huh?
He's got a tee. Oh, this ought to be good.
Yeah, that's just asking to pull something, isn't it?
I threw a flag.
That was an onside kick, I thought.
Is he still an athlete?
So there's your punt, pass, kick, and proposal competition.
Well, no, wait a minute. We need to revisit what Mr. Root just did. There's a certain level of pride that goes into this thing.
Congratulations all around. And now we're ready to get going in the final quarter of play. Still a terrific crowd on hand here at Memorial Stadium. Not many people have gone home at all.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So in there, quarterback for the red team, or back in there, still in there at quarterback is Johnny Stanton. Stanton with the give to Newby. Here a lot of times is take a look at this white team defense in there. Here a lot of times about how complex this Nebraska defense is, Damon, and having multiple backers play multiple books, whether it's Sam, Buck, Will.
It's a deal where, and it's like Coach Blaney said, if he had his way, Larry, he would have multiple guys be able to play the same positions, because if you can learn one, he felt like you should know them all and be interchangeable. And I said, hey, correct me if I'm wrong, but you'd like to have maybe 15, 16 guys be interchangeable within the same unit to do multiple things. And he said, exactly. Those guys got to play on a string, you ought to know.
Carry by Newby, the tackle made by DJ Singleton. Coach Papuchis, defensive coordinator for the Huskers.
Got him in the seam. Pretty good job of Santos and running with Foster. Let him off the line clean. Santos has lost a little bit of weight. His frame looks pretty good. Yeah, they bulked him up for a mic a little bit, and he shed some pounds.
Talking about David Santos, the Nebraska linebacker. Buck linebacker out of Spring, Texas. Ranked second on the team in tackles last year. That play goes nowhere.
That's one of those I think he'd like to have back. That's a give. Nice little crease opened up for Mr. Newby.
Still in there at quarterback. There's Stanton, 8 of 10, 135 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he's hit Damon 7 different receivers.
Share the wealth.
Stanton across the middle, incomplete.
I tell you, DJ Singleton has recovered nicely after kind of a shaky start in the first half. And drawing the ire of Coach Warren, he has responded.
DJ Singleton out of Jersey City, New Jersey, St. Peter's Prep, redshirt freshman. A lot of these young guys just beginning to learn the discipline to let it all slow down and read it rather than sometimes overreacting too quickly.
Yeah, sometimes, especially at this age, LP, you're so consumed with being busy, and mistaking activity for achievement. But it slows down for you and understand how to be efficient with your output. It gets a whole lot better for you.
So Zach Darlington now in there at quarterback. Darlington wrapped up after no gain. Darlington, a true freshman. Anthony Ritter's been active, hasn't he?
He has, and another guy that's been really good on this third unit as well is Sam Hahn, the old lineman out of North Dakota. He's played pretty well. Good technician.
Incomplete across the middle. So we talked about the new divisions next year in the Big Ten Conference. We are going east and west. Nebraska obviously will play in the west. Here is Nebraska's non-conference schedule. They'll be taking on Florida Atlantic, play McNeese State, go at Fresno State.
Yeah, a couple. Fresno, you never can tell. They'll have to replace Carr, but they bring back.
And then, of course, back here at home in a game that many are anticipating against the Miami Hurricanes. And then they head into conference play. Started off with Illinois, then go to Michigan State, to Northwestern this year. Will host Rutgers, host Purdue, go to Camp Randall.
That is as difficult a road schedule as you can have when you're at the big boys. You're at East Lansing, you're in Evanston.
Yep.
You go to Madison, and then you got to go to Iowa City. That is not going to be easy. That is a tough road conference schedule. You'll figure out a lot on October 4th.
And, of course, the plan eventually, Damon, to move to 9 conference games. They'll be playing 8 the next 2 years, but difficult to make those adjustments in the short term.
How about that fill by Zaire Anderson? Goodness. Rumble, young man, rumble.
That's right. I think Will Shields is on the sideline with the newly engaged couple.
Yes, I am. How did you put this together?
I mean, it took a lot of planning. Coach Bo's been really helpful to the whole thing. Mike Nobler and Tate Gillette in the Nebraska video office literally have been my complete liaisons through everything. I couldn't have done this without those guys. And then Coach Els has helped me, and everyone really in the Husker support staff has been a part of this. And the fact I was able to keep it a secret for as long as I did, I'm pretty glad I could pull it off.
Were you a little nervous there when you get there? I mean, you did so smooth how you just put it out of your pocket and said it.
We were trying to figure out how we were going to do it for like a week and a half, and this seemed like it was going to work the best. And it was just sitting in my pocket, and I was like, just don't drop it. That's all I kept telling myself, just don't drop it and have to search through the turf feeds to find it.
Were you surprised?
I was really surprised. I didn't have any expectation or inkling at all that it was going to happen today, and it did, so.
Awesome. Congratulations. It's a day to remember.
Yes, it is. Thank
Back to you guys.
What a catch by Brandon Riley. And we've talked about what a terrific performer he's been throughout the spring. But wow, what a grab on the throw from Armstrong.
Goodness, you saw the total package to the hands catch, the nice route running, and then the Louisiana bite as he tries to find pay dirt.
51-yard gain on the completion from Armstrong to Riley. Riley, a Lincoln product. Coach Bo was really impressed with Riley and his progress this spring.
And his teammates love him.
Right. Have confidence in him, right?
I was talking to Ron Kellogg III Thursday night. Just glowing reports of Riley. Just says, as he's got his 4 receptions for 92 yards, that he's just a guy that wants to play, is going to find a way to play. He's not going to go away.
This first-team offense would like to find a way to get this in. Here's Armstrong at quarterback. Gives it off to Amani Cross, who won't go down until he gets 3 or 4 more yards, and then inside the 3 to about maybe the 2.5. Taylor on the carry. Make that Taylor, not Cross.
Well, their arms look just alike.
Boy, he certainly
went into pile. How you
went into contact like Cross, didn't he?
Well, you hear those pads crack? It is not for the faint of heart. Don't stick your face in there. You better come with some intent.
Adam Taylor in the backfield along with Tommy Armstrong. Turner, Riley, and Allen wide out. Rolling to his left. Armstrong driven out of bounds inside the 2.
Boy, that was great feel to feel the heat.
Zaire coming off the corner. Felt it. Rose having none of it at the goal line.
So they'll try the field goal. In there to try it is Morrow Bondi.
Kicking game has been a little shaky.
It has been. Missed extra point, a blocked kick. Bondi's field goal, no good. So work to do. I'll say it was like maybe partially blocked.
I don't know about that. That might have been. I don't know.
Let's get on the field. Will Shields is with the head coach.
So, Coach, how far, how good, what do you think?
Well, today, obviously we mixed and match a lot of different people, and, we had a lot of, number of guys that didn't play today, but overall, we had a good spring. I feel good about what we've done through the spring, and, we tried to have a little bit of fun out here today, but at the same time get a little bit of work done and put on a little bit of show for the fans, have some fun, and I like the way the spring came out. I do. I think we have a chance to be a good football team, but that's going to depend on the level of commitment our guys have between now and when we kick it off in August and then on past that time.
So what about the spectacular catches we've had today? We've had some good ones, we had some bad ones, but what about the deep balls that's got?
I think that you saw some guys make some plays. You've seen some guys on both sides make some plays, but I think the biggest thing was I saw some guys who came out here maybe for the first time, and it showed. It showed that it was a little big for them, and they got a little bit caught up in the moment. But I think as everything settled down, I thought our guys settled down a little bit and played a little bit better football.
And also, what happened to the cat? Where'd it go?
He's back home now. He was tired. He got a little bit nervous with all this.
Okay. Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it. Back to you guys.
Bo Pelini joining us here as the offense gets ready for what should be one final drive here, if they stick to the script. Tyson Brookmeyer in there at quarterback. Gives to Newby.
Seeing glimpses from the tailbacks. Obviously, Cross coming off the big day.
And our United States Marine Corps leader of the day is cat lover and head coach of the University of Nebraska, Bo Pelini.
Did you ever think there'd be a day?
And here's a replay of the big moment. Who would have thought that deadpanning the walk through the tunnel, Bo Pelini,
got players
and
with
his
the
now
cat
famous
scratch fever.
Thought I was almost talking over that when you said that.
Silly, I tell you.
Saved you.
Thank you.
It's an embarrassment there.
I always appreciate your support, Anthony.
There's a look at the moment when Bo acknowledged.
You ready? Let's go.
After a gain of 2 on the play, make it. They'll put it out. They'll set this out at the 47 now. 1st and 10. Ruckmeyer gives to Newby. Thought about getting that outside, but the edge set nicely by that Nebraska defense.
Bo's Joseph. Hadn't had too bad of a day.
Ruckmeyer back up top. Big completion inside the 40. Banderas on the stop. David Sutton with the catch. Well, the grind to be the best has already begun. Our guys deliver the latest on position battles, interviews, and a breakdown of on-the-field action. The BTN Football Report, Spring Football Edition, coming up tonight at 10 Eastern on BTN and BTN to go.
I tell you, that was... He keeps his feet. That might be paid a dozen. Nice hole that opened up behind that left side right there. It's interesting to see all the little things that they do to test those backs. You know, they talked about feeding him as in Terrell Newby last week, 12 straight carries to kind of test his toughness and his mettle a little bit.
Looking for the corner there. He'll be out near a 1st down. And you think about Ron Brown's stable of running backs: Amir Abdullah, Amani Cross, Terrell Newby, Adam Taylor. You know, how do you find time for all of them, Damon?
Yeah, it will be. Got their work cut out for them. They got to define roles and establish roles.
The 22 plays already run on the corner blitz to give him the backfield to Taylor. Taylor drugged down from behind, no gain. Or a short game, maybe one. Bo really thought the level of maturity and understanding of this defense has really grown from where they were at this point last year. And you think about some of those routes that Nebraska saw consistently, some of those drag routes and pick routes that Nebraska struggled with. I thought they were in a much better position this year to manage those.
Yeah, just from recognition alone, you know, having been out there and seeing it, he felt pretty comfortable. It'll be interesting to see if it comes to fruition.
Third down now and 9 for the Red offense. Ruckmeyer still in there, quarterback. Looks downfield and intercepted. Still on his feet is Banderas with the pick. And that will do it. 6 for the interception for the white team. And that will do it for us here at Memorial Stadium in the annual Nebraska Spring Game. Along with David Benning, I'm Larry Putney, Will Shields for our entire crew. Thanks for joining us from here in Lincoln on BTN.